Afternoon, ma'am. My name is Pheladi, and I will be presenting a project about Soaps for Africa. Soaps for Africa approached us, the researchers, to evaluate the South African market with regards to the liquid detergent. The problem statement is that the South African market is booming. The small company found information before actually entering the market. We have two research questions and two research objectives that had to be established. The two research questions can be known as which pricing strategy can be used in the research, which packaging in the South African market will be the most suitable to use. Then we have the research objective to determine which packaging will be the most suitable to use to establish the most suitable pricing strategy. Then we have a short summary of the literature review. A literature review has been compiled about the study of the market in Africa. The company Soaps for Africa investigated the South African market. The two research questions were used to formulate the literature review, known as the pricing strategy and the packaging strategy. Then the concept of both the pricing and packaging strategy were discussed in detail. Two of the pricing strategies can be known as market scheming and market penetration. Market scheming is when you are setting a high price to scheme the consumers, and market penetration is setting a low price to have consumers and have a target market for the product. The packaging strategies is the paperboard boxes, the corrugated boxes, irrigated boxes, and foil. Then we move on to methodology. Methodology has a lot of concepts which are as follows. Descriptive research. It was used to show Soaps for Africa a detailed picture of the study. A survey was used. Online questionnaires was used as part of the survey. And then we have research methodology, which quantitative research was used. The study was based on a quantitative research because it is small and the response were based in numbers and graphs. Primary data was used. The data was collected with regards to the online survey questionnaires. Population was used to establish the number of people where information is needed. Probability, which we used non-probability, can be defined as the probability that it is not known and cannot be determined. The surveys that were conducted helped the researcher choose who has to be part of the sample. The sample type that was used was judgmental. Judgmental, it is defined as the researcher chooses a certain area, a unit that needs to be sampled based on existing knowledge. The sample type was based on the ages of 18 to 35 and it was female only. The sample size was 10. 10 questionnaires were conducted and responded answered the 10 questionnaires. Handling of non-responsive and missing data. When missing data, the researcher needs to be aware of all the data that is missing, and the data must be included by all means to prevent being biased. Missing data contributes to the reduction in stats and incomplete conclusion. Then we have data collection. Primary data was collected. The primary data was collected through online questionnaires, and a survey used online questionnaires that was created through Google Forms. Then we have data analysis. The data analysis is descriptive because hypothesis, the t-test, the mode, the median were used. Validity and reliability. Content validity was used in the research. As we move to the next part, which is Ethical consideration. The researcher has the responsibility to make sure that the information is not fraudulent. Privacy and confidentiality of the research is kept to ensure the safety of the participants. Personal information is required in the study, and the researcher needs to make sure that the personal information does not get in the wrong hands. Then we have the result of all the study that we have conducted. The result is as follows. With regards to the results that were gathered through the online questionnaires, the following results were gathered. The objective of which packaging will be the most suitable to use and relating to the question of packaging in the South African market that is the most suitable to use is that the respondents of packaging responded to the plastic boxes, which were 50% of the respondents that preferred it over four other mentioned, which were corrugated, which amounted to 20%, the paperboard, the foil, and everything listed, which amounted to 10% each. The other findings that the respondents prefer the market penetration pricing than the market skimming pricing. The market penetration pricing had a 90% count, then the market skimming a 10%. Then another one, we found out that 70% of the respondents were ready to try out a new liquid detergent and 30% were very skeptical about it. Recommendation and limitations. The limitation that the study had before in the first proposal was that the researcher was inexperienced, the sample size was too small, the pandemic that the world is facing is COVID was forcing online questionnaires to be made rather than paper-based. The sample was too small and it was difficult because of information was not enough. The recommendation to the limitation that the study has was that with regards to the sample is too small, the recommendation can be that the researcher needs to understand how to choose an appropriate sample size before conducting the research. And the researcher can choose the sample size by scientific calculations. When the sample size is too small, the study doesn't have enough information, the recommendation can be that addressing the flaw in the research and examining and testing the theory. The researcher is inexperienced. The recommendation can be that building a particular finding in the research, the pandemic that is forcing questionnaires to be online, the recommendation can be that the researcher has to make it a norm to use online questionnaires even though there is no pandemic. The researcher needs to conduct the same research study in a new location that is in a different context as well as in culture. To conclude, the research was conducted and all the research questions and objectives were answered. Thus, Soaps for Africa has a broader understanding and knowledge and enough information about the African market. Therefore, they can choose to enter the African market based on the research study and the findings that we found. Thank you.